Ladies and gentlemen, it's a joy to be with you today. Life, as beautiful as it is, often throws challenges our way. Sometimes we face situations so ugly, so overwhelming that we feel like giving up. But let me remind you, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Today I want to talk to you about how to rise above those situations and walk in victory. Ugly situations have a way of making us feel like we're stuck, like there's no way out. But the truth is, setbacks are temporary. They may feel overwhelming in the moment, but they are not here to stay. They come to teach us, to grow us, and ultimately to move us into a better position. Sometimes when we're in the middle of a tough situation, it's easy to believe that this is how things will always be. It's easy to get caught up in the feelings of frustration, sadness, or even anger, and think that life has dealt us a bad hand. But the key to dealing with an ugly situation is to remind yourself that it's just a chapter in your story, not the whole book. Think about a storm. When the wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and the skies are dark, it feels like it will never end. But no storm lasts forever. The same principle applies to life. Whatever you're going through right now, it's not permanent. It's a season, and seasons change. Winter may be cold and harsh, but spring always comes. In the same way, the difficulties you're facing are temporary, and better days are on their way. Often, we get so focused on the problem that we forget the bigger picture. We get consumed by the pain or disappointment of the moment, and we lose sight of the fact that life is always moving forward. Every sunrise is a new opportunity, and every day is a chance to move closer to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. It's important to keep this perspective, especially when you're in the middle of an ugly situation. Remind yourself that what you're experiencing is just a moment in time. It may be a tough moment, but it's not your final destination. One of the ways we can recognize that setbacks are temporary is by reflecting on our past experiences. Think back to other times in your life when you faced challenges. At the time, it may have felt like the end of the world, but you made it through. You're still here. The very fact that you've overcome difficulties before is proof that you can do it again. Each time you face a tough situation, you become stronger and more resilient. The setbacks of the past prepared you for the victories of today, and the challenges you're facing now are setting you up for future success. Another way to shift your perspective is to remind yourself that there's often a purpose in the pain. Sometimes setbacks are life's way of redirecting us. Maybe you're facing difficulties at work, but it's because there's a better opportunity waiting for you. Maybe a relationship didn't work out, but it's because there's someone else who's better suited for you. When we can view setbacks as redirections, it helps us see them in a more positive light. Instead of feeling like the world is against us, we can trust that everything is happening for a reason. It's also important to stay patient during challenging times. We live in a world that values instant results, but some of the most beautiful things in life take time to develop. A seed doesn't grow into a tree overnight. It has to go through seasons of growth, rain, and even storms before it can stand tall and strong. In the same way, our setbacks are often part of a greater process. They're not meant to defeat us. They're meant to prepare us. Trust the timing of your life and know that what's meant for you will not pass you by. When we recognize that setbacks are temporary, it allows us to keep hope alive. Hope is a powerful thing. It's what gives us the strength to keep going, even when we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hope reminds us that no matter how bad things seem, there's always a way forward. It's the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. And when we hold on to hope, we're better equipped to face whatever challenges come our way. It's also important to focus on the lessons that setbacks can teach us. Every experience, no matter how difficult, has something to offer. Maybe you're learning patience, or maybe you're discovering a strength you didn't know you had. Maybe the situation is teaching you to appreciate the good times more fully, or to value the people who support you. When we can see setbacks as opportunities for growth, they lose their power to overwhelm us. Finally, surround yourself with reminders that setbacks are temporary. Whether it's uplifting music, encouraging words from a friend, or even a journal where you write about your dreams and goals, find ways to keep your focus on the bigger picture. The more you remind yourself that this too shall pass, the easier it becomes to stay positive and keep moving forward. In the midst of life's challenges, it's easy to let what you're going through define who you are. Ugly situations have a way of making you feel like they're your identity, as if your worth and value are tied to the difficulties you face. But nothing could be further from the truth. The struggles you encounter are just moments, not definitions. Your identity is far greater than any temporary setback, no matter how overwhelming it feels. You are not what you're going through. You are who you choose to be in the face of it. It's natural to feel weighed down by challenges. When you're dealing with a financial crisis, it might feel like you're a failure. When a relationship falls apart, you may think you're unlovable. When you face rejection or loss, it can be easy to believe that you're not good enough. But those are lies that the situation tries to tell you. Your worth is not determined by the events happening around you. It's determined by the incredible potential strength and resilience within you. You have to separate your circumstances from your identity. Just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're weak. Just because you face setbacks doesn't mean you're incapable. Life's challenges don't define your value, they reveal your capacity to overcome. Even in the middle of the toughest trials, you're still valuable, still strong, still worthy of every good thing. That's why it's so important to speak to yourself with kindness and compassion during difficult times. Instead of letting the situation label you, remind yourself of who you truly are. When you're going through an ugly situation, it's easy to internalize the pain and let it affect how you see yourself. For example, if you lose your job, you might start to believe that you're not talented or that you'll never find success again. If someone treats you unfairly, you might think you're not worthy of respect, but those thoughts are not the truth. They're just the voice of fear and doubt trying to take hold. You have to counter those voices with the truth about who you are. You are talented, capable, and deserving of every opportunity and every blessing. Sometimes it's not just the situation itself that tries to define you, but the opinions of others. People might look at what you're going through and judge you. They might say things like, you'll never recover from this, or just who you are now. But you don't have to accept their labels. What other people say about you doesn't determine your destiny. Only you have the power to define who you are, and your definition should always come from a place of strength, hope, and faith in your future. The key to not letting a situation define you is to focus on your potential rather than your problems. No matter how bad things seem, there's always more to your story. This moment is not the end, it's just a chapter. And chapters are meant to build upon each other, leading to a greater narrative. Your current challenges are simply part of your journey. They may shake you, but they don't define the entirety of who you are. You have dreams, talents, and strengths that no setback can take away. It's also important to remember that everyone goes through difficulties. You're not alone in facing challenges, even though it might feel that way. Sometimes we look at others and think their lives are perfect, but the truth is that everyone has struggles. What sets people apart is how they choose to respond to those struggles. Do they let the situation define them, or do they rise above it? You have the choice to rise above, to refuse to let the challenge become your identity. One way to keep the situation from defining you is to focus on your purpose. When you remind yourself of your goals, your dreams, and the person you want to become, it becomes easier to see situation as a temporary obstacle rather than a permanent label. You might be facing difficulty now, but your purpose hasn't changed. You're still on the path to achieving great things. And this moment is just a part of the process. Another strategy is to lean into the qualities that truly define you. Are you compassionate? Are you hardworking? Are you resilient? Those are the traits that make you who you are, not the challenges you face. When you focus on these positive qualities, you'll find the strength to navigate even the ugliest of situations. You'll remember that you're more than the sum of your circumstances. Your identity is not tied to what's happening to you. It's rooted in the person you are at your core. Even when life gets tough, that core remains unshaken. You're still the same person with the same potential, the same gifts, and the same ability to overcome. This situation doesn't define you. It's simply an opportunity to show the world and yourself just how strong and capable you really are. In challenging situations, the words you speak carry tremendous power. It can be tempting to let frustration, fear, or negativity take over, but what you say in the middle of a tough time can either pull you down further or lift you toward a breakthrough. Speaking life over your circumstances isn't just a motivational idea. It's a principle that can change your perspective, your mindset, and even the outcome of the situation. Words are seeds, and what you plant with your speech will eventually grow and manifest in your life. When you face an ugly situation, your first reaction might be to vent your frustrations, and that's natural. But if you allow negativity to dominate your speech, you're unknowingly reinforcing the very challenges you want to overcome. Words have the power to shape your reality, and when you consistently speak words of defeat, you begin to believe them. Saying things like, nothing ever works out for me, or this is just how my life is going to be, creates a mindset that accepts the current situation as permanent. Instead, you need to counter those thoughts with words of life, words that reflect hope and possibilities. Speaking life doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending the challenges don't exist. It means choosing to focus on solutions, possibilities, and the belief that better days are ahead. When you declare, I will get through this, or this is temporary, and something good will come from it, you're not just saying positive phrases, you're actively shifting your mindset. You're training yourself to see the light in the darkness and to look for opportunities even in difficult times. These words become a source of strength that fuels your resilience. The act of speaking life is also about taking control of your narrative. An ugly situation might try to tell you that you're a failure, things will never improve, but your words can rewrite that story. When you say, I am capable, or I have the strength to overcome this, you're affirming your identity and reminding yourself of the power you hold. These declarations are not just for show. They're reminders to yourself that you are more than your circumstances. There's also a spiritual component to speaking life. Many traditions teach that words have creative power, that what you say has the ability to shape your reality. When you speak words of hope, faith, and encouragement, you're aligning yourself with a higher vision for your life. You're opening the door for unexpected blessings, solutions, and breakthroughs to enter. Even if the situation doesn't change overnight, your attitude and perspective will begin to shift, making it easier to navigate the challenges. It's important to be intentional about the language you use, even in everyday conversations. When someone asks how you're doing, it's easy to respond with complaints or negativity, especially when you're going through a tough time. But instead, consider saying something like, I'm working through some challenges, but I'm hopeful, or it's a tough season, but I believe it's leading to something better. These responses don't deny the difficulty, they simply frame it in a way that reflects your resilience and hope. Speaking life also involves surrounding yourself with the right influences. The words you hear from others can impact the words you speak to yourself. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, it becomes harder to maintain a positive outlook. Seek out people who uplift and encourage you, people who remind you of your strength and potential. Let their words reinforce the life you're speaking over your circumstances. Another aspect of speaking life is gratitude. Even in the midst of challenges, there's always something to be thankful for. When you focus on what's good, no matter how small, and express gratitude for it, you're shifting your focus from lack to abundance. Saying things like, I'm grateful for the lessons I'm learning, or I appreciate the support I have, reinforces a mindset of possibility and growth. This doesn't mean you'll always feel positive or motivated. There will be moments when doubt and fear creep in, and that's okay. The key is to recognize those moments and consciously choose words that build you up instead of tearing you down. Even if you don't feel the words at first, speaking them can help you start to believe them. It's a practice, and like any practice, it becomes easier with time. There's incredible power in what you say, especially in the face of adversity. Speaking life is a tool that helps you reclaim your strength, focus on solutions, and keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. It's a choice you make every day with every word you speak. Whether the situation changes immediately or not, your words have the power to change you, and that is where true transformation begins. When life throws us into difficult circumstances, one of the most empowering things we can do is focus on what we can control. In every situation, no matter how chaotic or overwhelming, there are always elements within our reach where we can make a difference. Shifting our energy toward these areas helps us regain a sense of agency and prevents us from feeling paralyzed by the things we cannot change. It's about recognizing that while we may not have control over everything, we always have control over how we respond. In challenging moments, it's natural to dwell on the aspects of the situation that are beyond our influence. Whether it's someone else's behavior, an unexpected setback, or circumstances that seem unfair, we often waste precious energy trying to force outcomes that are simply out of our hands. This creates frustration, stress, and even feelings of hopelessness. The more we fixate on what we can't control, the more powerless we feel. But when we deliberately shift our attention to what we can manage, we begin to see possibilities and solutions we might have overlooked. One of the first steps to focusing on what you can control is to take a moment to identify the areas where you have influence. For example, you may not be able to control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You may not be able to change a sudden financial challenge overnight, but you can make decisions about budgeting and seeking help. You may not be able to undo a loss or disappointment, but you can choose how to honor it and move forward. This clarity helps you direct your energy toward meaningful actions rather than wasting it on futile efforts. It's important to recognize that focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring the reality of the situation. It's about acknowledging the full scope of what's happening while intentionally choosing where to direct your energy. This approach is empowering because it reminds you that even in the most difficult times, you're not completely at the mercy of your circumstances. There's always something you can do to move forward, even if it's a small step. Your attitude is one of the most powerful things you can control. No matter what's happening around you, you have the ability to choose how you think and feel about it. While emotions like anger, sadness, or frustration are natural, you don't have to let them dictate your entire perspective. By focusing on gratitude, hope, or even simple acceptance, you can create a mindset that supports your resilience rather than undermining it. This shift in attitude doesn't make the challenges disappear, but it does give you the strength to face them with greater clarity and determination. Another critical area of control is your actions. In every situation, there are choices you can make to influence the outcome, even if they seem small at first. When you focus on taking proactive steps, you're not just responding to the situation, you're shaping it. For instance, if you're facing a professional setback, you control how you approach the problem by seeking opportunities for growth, networking, or developing new skills. If you're dealing with a personal challenge, you can choose to reach out for support, set boundaries, or prioritize self-care. Each action, no matter how small, contributes to a sense of progress and empowerment. Your focus is another area you have control over. Where you direct your attention determines your experience of the situation. If you constantly dwell on what's going wrong, you'll amplify feelings of stress and helplessness. But if you intentionally look for silver linings, lessons, or opportunities, you'll begin to see the situation in a different light. It's not about ignoring the difficulties, but about balancing them with a focus on what's possible. Sometimes focusing on what you can control means letting go of what you can't. This can be one of the hardest but most liberating steps to take. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing yourself from the burden of trying to change things that are beyond your power. When you release that weight, you create space for more productive and fulfilling efforts. This shift allows you to conserve your energy and channel it toward actions that truly matter. Another way to take control in challenging times is to create routines or practices that ground you. This might include setting daily goals, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. These small, consistent actions can provide a sense of stability and normalcy even when everything else feels uncertain. Focusing on what you control also means being patient with yourself. You won't have all the answers right away, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. Over time, these small efforts add up and can lead to significant change. Each moment you spend focusing on what's within your reach is a moment spent building resilience and creating a path toward a better future. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on how you navigate life's challenges. When you're facing an ugly situation, the voices you allow into your life can either uplift you or pull you further into despair. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with uplifting voices, people who encourage you, inspire you, and remind you of your strength when you feel like giving up. These voices can act as a source of light, providing the hope and motivation you need to keep going, even in the darkest of times. When you're in a difficult situation, it's natural to want to vent and share your frustrations with others. But not everyone is equipped to offer the kind of support that will help you move forward. Some people may unintentionally feed into your fears and doubts by focusing on the negatives or by offering advice that stems from their own insecurities. Others may lack the empathy or understanding needed to truly lift you up. That's why it's crucial to be intentional about the voices you let into your life during tough times. Uplifting voices are those that see your potential even when you can't see it yourself. They don't dismiss the reality of your challenges, but they refuse to let you dwell in hopelessness. Instead, they remind you of your resilience and your ability to overcome. These voices speak to the part of you that knows you're capable of rising above the situation, and they encourage you to take steps in that direction. Whether it's a friend who listens without judgment, a mentor who offers guidance, or even a book or podcast that inspires you, uplifting voices come in many forms. Sometimes the most uplifting voices are the ones that challenge you to grow. These are the people who hold you accountable, who push you to step out of your comfort zone, and who encourage you to see the lessons in your struggles. They don't let you settle for less than your best. And while their words may not always be easy to hear, they come from a place of love and belief in your potential. These voices help you to see beyond your current circumstances and to focus on the possibilities ahead. In addition to surrounding yourself with uplifting people, it's also important to limit exposure to negative influences. Negative voices can drain your energy and make it harder to maintain a hopeful outlook. These might be people who constantly complain, who discourage you from pursuing your goals, or who seem to thrive on drama. While it's not always possible to completely avoid negativity, you can choose to set boundaries and protect your mental and emotional space. Doing so allows you to stay focused on what's most important, your growth and well-being. Sometimes you might find yourself in a situation where uplifting voices are hard to come by. Maybe you're feeling isolated, or maybe the people around you don't understand what you're going through. In those moments, it's important to seek out alternative sources of encouragement. This could mean joining a supportive community, finding a coach or counselor, or turning to inspiring content that resonates with you. Books, podcasts, and online communities can all serve as powerful sources of motivation when in-person support isn't available. Another aspect of surrounding yourself with uplifting voices is being mindful of the voice you speak to yourself with. Self-talk plays a huge role in how you experience challenges. Even if you have supportive people in your life, there won't have as much impact if your inner dialogue is filled with doubt and negativity. Practice speaking to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer a close friend. Remind yourself of your strengths, your accomplishments, and your ability to overcome. The more you cultivate an uplifting inner voice, the more resilient you'll become in the face of adversity. It's also worth noting that being surrounded by uplifting voices doesn't mean you won't still feel the weight of your challenges. Life's difficulties are real, and it's okay to acknowledge the pain and frustration that comes with them. Uplifting voices don't erase the struggle, they help you carry it. They provide the perspective and encouragement needed to keep moving forward even when the path is difficult. Finally, uplifting voices remind you that you're not alone. One of the most isolating aspects of an ugly situation is the feeling that no one else understands what you're going through. But the right people will remind you that they're there for you, that they believe in you, and that they're rooting for your success. This sense of connection can be incredibly powerful, giving you the strength to face challenges with courage and determination. Ugly situations often tempt us to act out of emotion, reacting impulsively or saying and doing things we might later regret. It's human nature to want to fight back, defend ourselves, or lash out when we feel wronged or overwhelmed. However, true strength and wisdom come from choosing to respond instead of reacting. The difference lies in intentionality, pausing to consider the impact of your words and actions, and making choices that align with your values and long-term goals rather than being driven by fleeting emotions. When you react, it's often a reflex, an immediate response to what's happening around you. Reacting is typically driven by emotions like anger, fear, or frustration. It's the harsh words spoken in the heat of an argument, the snap decision made without thinking through the consequences. While these reactions may provide a momentary release, they often lead to further complications. They can escalate conflicts, damage relationships, or leave you feeling worse about the situation. Reacting gives away your power because it allows the situation or someone else's actions to dictate your behavior. On the other hand, responding is a deliberate process. It starts with taking a step back, breathing, and allowing yourself a moment to process what's happening. In that pause, you regain control over your emotions and thoughts. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging them without letting them control you. In that moment of pause, you can assess the situation more objectively, consider your options, and choose the course of action that will serve you best in the long run. Choosing to respond doesn't come naturally in high pressure or emotional moments. It requires practice and a conscious effort to develop self-awareness. One way to start is by recognizing your triggers, the situations, words, or behaviors that provoke strong emotional reactions in you. When you understand what sets you off, you can prepare yourself to respond more calmly when those triggers arise. For example, if you know that certain criticisms make you defensive, you can practice pausing and reminding yourself not to take them personally before deciding how to address the issue. Another important aspect of responding is focusing on your goals. In any difficult situation, ask yourself, what outcome am I hoping for? And will this action or response move me closer to that outcome? These questions help you prioritize long-term results over short-term emotional satisfaction. For instance, if you're dealing with a conflict, like lashing out might feel satisfying in the moment, but it's unlikely to resolve the issue. A thoughtful, measured response is more likely to lead to understanding and resolution. Responding also involves empathy, both for yourself and for others. When emotions run high, it's easy to other person as an adversary or to be harsh with yourself for feeling overwhelmed. But taking a moment to consider their perspective and your own needs can lead to more constructive responses. Empathy doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or ignoring your own boundaries. It simply means recognizing that everyone is human and that understanding often leads to better outcomes than hostility. When you respond thoughtfully, you not only navigate the situation more effectively, but you also set a powerful example for others. Your calm and deliberate approach can diffuse tension, inspire cooperation, and encourage others to adopt a similar mindset. This ripple effect can transform the dynamics of a challenging situation, turning it into an opportunity for growth and understanding rather than conflict. It's also worth noting that responding doesn't mean inaction. Some people confuse being thoughtful and deliberate with being passive, but they are not the same. Responding often involves setting boundaries, standing up for yourself or taking decisive action. The key difference is that these actions are taken with intention and clarity, rather than being driven by emotion or impulse. Responding is about maintaining control of your power and using it wisely. In the moments when you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or tempted to react impulsively, remind yourself of your ability to choose. You are not at the mercy of your emotions or the situation. You have the power to pause, reflect, and decide how to move forward. This choice is a form of strength, one that helps you preserve your integrity, build healthier relationships, and stay aligned with your values even in the most challenging circumstances. Responding also helps you maintain peace of mind. When you act with intention, you're less likely to look back with regret or second-guess your decisions. Instead of wondering, what if I hadn't said that, or what if I had handled that differently? You can feel confident that you did your best with the information and emotions you had at the time. This sense of inner peace is invaluable, especially when navigating tough situations. It reminds you that while you can't always control the outcome, you can control your approach, and that makes all the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, life will always present challenges, obstacles, and moments that test the very core of who we are. Ugly situations are unavoidable. They are not unconquerable. By shifting your perspective, speaking life into your circumstances, focusing on what you can control, surrounding yourself with uplifting voices, and responding with intention instead of reacting impulsively, you empower yourself to rise above any adversity. Each of these principles equips you to face difficulties with strength, grace, and unwavering hope. Remember, the ugly moments are not your final story. They are chapters that lead to transformation. You have the power to shape how the story unfolds, to grow stronger, and to find meaning even in the messiest of situations. Keep pressing forward, keep believing in better days, and never lose sight of the incredible resilience and purpose that lies within you.